Hey, girlfriend. What's up? Oh my gosh, it's Friday. And if you're in Canada, then it is long weekend Friday at that. I don't know if it's long weekend Friday for our American girlfriends. If it is long weekend Friday for our American girlfriends, then definitely let me know. We also might not even be in the chat yet. So if you're not in the chat, I'm not sure what's happening on the other end, but yeah, it's definitely a long weekend here in Canada. And I am so excited. I am so ready for it. You don't even know. I hope while you're getting, connected and while you're getting all comfy for today's really highly anticipated 12 things you should never do to your fine natural hair live stream video, you came prepared with your drink, whatever drink of choice it is for you. For me today, it is lemonade. And I realize I'm matching with it. That was not intended. But it's pink lemonade for me and also some popcorn. So I definitely encourage you to do the same thing because today's going to be fun. I'm really excited to share, these tips. All the tips that I share here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks, I implement into my own regimen. It's why I have healthy, fine natural hair, and I really share them so that you can do the same. Hi, Nadoom. Hey, Coily Code. What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh my gosh, look at us. And hello to anyone who is here. They're in the live, but maybe you're doing something else. I know some of us sometimes are still working. I know some of us are even sometimes traveling. So if you are in the car, then be careful, please. Also, if you are, still working, thank you so much for coming through. And if you're a replay gang, what's up to the replay gang? I know there's quite a few of us who are also enjoying watching Fine Natural Hair Rocks after the fact. Quilly Code, my drink is a clearly Canadian in Mountain Blackberry. Nice! Look at you, all the theme and everything. I love the Canadian effect. That is awesome. Hey, love yourself. What's up? What's up? I'm so happy everybody was able to connect. Everybody was able to find Natural Hair Rocks. Right now, we're looking kind of weird on the YouTube streets. I mean, I was a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little concerned. Right now, as you know, if you were watching the recent update video, I did go ahead and change the name, just seeing what would happen, and then it got stuck. So we're literally stuck at the channel being called Lavinia Latham. I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. I'm just gonna briefly share my screen, but we are essentially stuck with this looking like this all across YouTube. So whenever I respond to you, it says Lavinia Latham, even though what it needs to say and what it will say is Fine Natural Hair Rock. So now we've got 12 days waiting for me to be able to switch things back. 12 days, a couple of hours, not that anybody's counting. But I mean, it is what it is, right? So there's other people. Hey, Patricia. Hi, Patricia 076. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I mean, it's been a really amazing ride. I want to say we're at 7,700 subscribers. That's amazing. I really love the fact that Fine Natural Hair Rocks has been helping so many beautiful girlfriends just like you be able to achieve the hair of their dreams. I mean, when I started on my journey, this was not something that I ever thought I'd be able to achieve. And, documenting your journey, really knowing, what works and what doesn't work because you've been documenting your journey, or maybe you have a really strong memory and you don't need to document things like that. I don't know, but just being aware of what you've done and what hasn't worked and what is working is going to make the world of a difference as it relates to the success that you have. Um, Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. I can't believe it. There's a goal here that I have for us to hit 10,000 girlfriends by, hopefully my birthday, which is in July 18th. So that would be really nice. To that end, if you do know of a girlfriend who, could really benefit from solid natural hair advice, she doesn't have to have, or he doesn't have to have, fine natural hair per se. But if they are seeking for natural hair advice, these tips work amazingly well for any natural. I mean, fine naturals need a very specific subset of like extra tender loving care for their hair. But if these tips are applied to those who have natural hair, period, it's going to help regardless. So I really think that that'd be really nice to get somebody in. Hey, Carl. So yeah, we're really here. We're all together as one. I want to also say before we hop into today's video that if you have not signed up for the newsletter yet, definitely sign up. Y'all are gonna hear me say this ad nauseum like a broken record. Because, girlfriend, I've been there. I used to be on YouTube back in 2009, and I had to stop YouTube because I had to continue law school. Like, the YouTube was just becoming too much. It was growing too fast, and my law school studies needed attention. And so, for that reason, I lost access to, at the time, which felt like a lot of people. At the time, the channel was only about 4,000 followers strong, but Financial Hit Rocks is almost double the size. And so that's the reason why a big part of me is always saying, like, for whatever reason we lose contact, I don't ever want to lose contact with you, girlfriend. So super quickly, this link is in the chat. This is just our girlfriend newsletter list. So you just go ahead, put your first name in. I don't think you need to put your last name if you're not comfortable. If you are comfortable, fantastic. But we definitely need your email address so that we can get in contact with you just in case anything happens. And I don't spam inboxes because, let's be real, that's very annoying. So yeah, hopping on into these tips. These tips are amazing tips. So, tip number one, what you never ever want to do with your fine natural strands is put them in the hand of someone who has no idea what fine natural strands even are. If they don't even know what fine natural strands are, they don't know what delicate strands are, they don't know your hair type, you know, they don't understand that there is a different care structure to dealing with fine strands versus dealing with, typically more resilient, more thicker strands. Then you want to run in the other direction. Girlfriend, I went through that. Was a very nice, naive person when I was younger, and I would just go to whoever was a stylist, and that was it. And I suffered a lot of setbacks because I was putting my hair into the hands of somebody who had no clue what they were doing. So they would be, combing really roughly. When I was relaxed, they'd be leaving the relaxer on my hair for way longer than it needed to be left on the hair. Because if you've got fine strands, it's going to process a lot quicker than if you've got thicker strands. And that's because, like we've spoken about here on Financial Hit Rocks, there's an entire layer missing. So because there's an entire layer missing, everything you do to find strands tends to happen a little bit more quickly. That being said, the second major tip is that you don't want to be using products with parabens. Girlfriend, this is a major one. I know that there are products out there that you may be purchasing that are, maybe a lot cheaper because parabens are a very cheap preservative, but parabens are actually cancerous. They have a lot of issues for the health system, reproductive system. They're just not good. And so even if that product is working well for you, I would strongly encourage that you stop using that product because no hair care product is worth like your health deteriorating. Like it's just not, right? I mean, that's not for me. So, and I know it's not for you either. Yes, Coily Code. Parabens are no bueno. And it sucks because a lot of the really popular brands, a lot of them do have parabens in it, and they might not, splash it across the front that they've got parabens in it, but it might be in the ingredients. It doesn't, for me at this point, I don't even care if it's at the bottom of the ingredients. If there's parabens in it, in the hair care products, in the skincare products, I am absolutely not using it. Patricia Jenkins says that happened to me also. Yeah, I'm assuming you're speaking about the hair salon experience. Yes, that was happening to me from I was, a little young girl right up until when I was in my 20s. And I was like, hold on a second. There's a difference here. I don't think people across the industry know how to deal with my hair properly. When I started to take that power back, girlfriend, it really did make a difference. And I was able to really enjoy the health and strength of my hair that I'm enjoying now. Coily Code says the Hawaiian Silky Moisturizer has parabens. I had to throw it out. Yeah, throwing products out when they're working perfectly fine is the hardest thing ever. And interestingly enough, very coincidental, Coily Code, I also had Hawaiian Silky Moisturizer at the beginning of my natural hair care journey, and I stopped using it. I don't think it was because of the parabens, but because of some other ingredients in it. So at the time, I didn't know how bad parabens were, but I knew that there were other wonky ingredients in there, and so I stopped using it as well. Did it burn because I'm throwing out, something that I purchased with my hardcore money? Absolutely. Like, I've never been someone who likes to waste money, and I'm definitely not someone who likes to waste money now either. So that burned. It really, really burned. But I mean, my health is worth it. At the end of the day, if it's $20 that is now in the trash, I'd rather the $20 in the trash than my health in the trash. The third one that I'm going to say is that you never ever want to Deep condition your fine natural hair after a co-wash treatment. So I see Patricia Jenkins, before I hop into that point, I see there's a question that says, what are parabens? So I want to be super clear, and I don't want to just give an overview of what parabens are. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again with just a super quick Google search that I think this is correct. So I'm just going to go ahead and share this now. Boom. Alrighty. So, parabens are chemicals that are commonly used as preservatives in cosmetic and pharmaceutical products. Chemically, it shows that there are a series, and I'm reading just down here, there are a series of whatever that chemical is, or esters of that chemical acid. Research is being conducted to evaluate the potential negative health implications of parabens usage. So this is just something quick on Google. I would agree that that's the definition of parabens. And there's a whole bunch of information online that can really, help you in your search to understand why they're so bad, because it is a pretty big ask to go through your products, make sure that there aren't any in there, and you know throw them out or stop using them. I will tell you, girlfriend, everything that I've ever spoken about here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks, they don't have parabens. It's something that I don't use. I see an interesting question here. Yeah, see, so are parabens banned in Canada? There's no restriction on the use of parabens in cosmetics in Canada. So I don't think there's any restrictions on parabens used in the US either. They are absolutely preservatives mainly. But the issue is that we don't need to use parabens for preservatives anymore. And so there are companies like Mielle, like Oyen Handmade, like Camille Rose, The Main Choice. A lot of these Black women-owned products, Black-owned products, they don't have harmful ingredients in them that cause issues for their consumers. And so I noticed to be, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, just in my own experience, but I did notice that the more I was leaning into using products made by Black women, that they tended to use more healthier ingredients. Yes, they were more expensive, and I think they're starting to maybe level out with the proliferation of mass production. You see a lot of these products in places like Walmart. If you're in the US, you can get them at Rexall, you can get them at Target, you can get them at Dwayne Reed. For those of you who are not familiar with the US, those are all pharmacies that are pretty much available in almost every single neighborhood that I've seen so far. And so the price seems to have come down because of that. But I know in the Caribbean, girlfriend had mentioned this a couple of live streams ago, that things are still extremely expensive. And in that case, I would say, lean into using what you can until you can use what you want. But, if cost is prohibitive, it's expensive to buy products. If you're in the Caribbean, you have access to a lot of raw materials anyways, that a lot of these products use those raw materials, and that's what's driving up the price. So they import whatever is in the Caribbean as a raw material. It goes into the lab, here in the Americas. It's mixed up and it's, stabilized with parabens, and then it's repackaged and it's sent back. So if you're in the Caribbean or you're in a hot country and you have access to these raw materials, things like mango, aloe vera, avocado, like bananas, right? You can definitely just mix up your own thing. One thing I would recommend though is use your mixture right away, because you won't have access to the preservatives that are less harmful. And I purposefully say less harmful than parabens, because the ones that they are using now are just, they're not just as harmful, but they can be harmful. So the one I'm thinking of off the top of my head, and of course, I'm forgetting the name right now, but a lot of these products have this particular preservative in it. It's not bad for your reproductive system and cancerous and stuff like that, although it hasn't been proven to be, but it might cause skin irritation. So that's just one little piece. And definitely do your research, girlfriend. This is something that I think is really important for each of us to do for ourselves, because we come to this, this natural hair journey with such different, unique experiences and different, unique needs. Patricia says it makes it really hard to find products, but since transitioning, I've stuck to silicone and paraben free. Yes, and that is very true. The great thing is that a lot of these products will purposefully market themselves as being silicone free, being paraben free. I'm not as strict about the silicone thing, because from my understanding, silicones can coat the strands, but they don't necessarily harm the body itself, right? Whereas parabens harm the body itself, and for me, that's a no-brainer. Like, there's never going to be parabens. So tip number four would be to, tip number three is never deep condition your fine natural hair after co-wash treatment. Girlfriend, I've been there. When I was doing the most in my regimen, I thought that I needed to co-wash and then I needed to deep condition because that's what you do when you wash your hair. The thing is that a co-wash, which is a conditioner designed to cleanse and also condition your hair, is highly moisturizing, highly hydrating in nature, and it coats the strands on its own. So a lot of the ingredients that they use to create co-washes are similar ingredients that they use to create deep conditioners, minus those cleansing agents. And so you don't want to be putting that on your fine strands twice because it's going to lead to buildup. It's going to lead to like an itchy scalp, and it's just not going to be a good situation. So whenever you're co-washing, just take that as an opportunity to have a lighter wash day where you can co-wash your hair and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to worry about the whole pre-poo post. That's a mouthful. Pre-poo process, and you don't have to worry about the deep conditioning process either. Now, of course, if you do this tip and you notice that your hair is super dry or you're still having issues, then that means that maybe you need a little bit something as it relates to like a leave-in conditioner. So, if your hair is super gummy, then you might want to lean into a protein leave-in conditioner. If your hair is super soft, and or no, super hard rather, then you might want to lean into a moisturizing deep conditioner. Coily Code says, I need silicones. Yeah, the silicones thing, like the community is kind of here and there. I've had pretty good experiences using silicones. I don't use them anymore. One of my favorite deep conditioners, pretty much of all time, like if I had to only use that, I'd be okay minus the silicones bit, is the Ah, not Oyen Handmade. It's oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the name. The lovely lady, she was also a lawyer. Thank God I'm natural. Tijin, Honey Miracle Mask. And that has silicones in it, but the Honey Miracle Mask works amazing every single time. And I think it has to do with the silicones. There's a time and place for silicones. I mean, if you are using silicones, I think that it's really going to benefit you to make sure that you're clarifying your hair a little bit more often to get the silicones off. But if you have highly textured strands like I do, your curls like to love up on each other and they're fine, and you feel like you need a little bit something until you get your hydration levels up. I feel like it's one of those things where so long as you know how to use the product properly, you understand when your hair is experiencing some buildup, then I feel like you're going to be a-okay using silicone so long as you take it off with a clarifier at some point regularly after. PSR076 says it's important to read ingredients because labels are deceiving. Absolutely. And girlfriends, it's the ingredients, it's not necessarily the label that has the most amount of regulations and legal at least here in Canada, and legal interaction with. So whereas labels, things can kind of be put there and it's a little bit of the Wild Wild West, you can't put into a product that there's an ingredient in there that's not in there. You can't put on a product that it has, this amazing super ingredient and all the whole product is mainly that super ingredient and then put that at the top of the list. It actually has to flow from what the product is mostly made of, which is usually water, and then the further it gets down the ingredients list is the less and less and less that ingredient shows up in that particular product. And that's a really important distinction because if you follow the marketing, if you follow the labels, they'll have you believing that like every single thing on the market is an amazing product, and it's just not true. So it's really, really important to read those ingredients. Don't get fooled. Don't get caught up in, beautiful packaging, because at the end of the day, it could have the most beautiful packaging in the world and it could do absolutely nothing for your hair. In fact, it could actually harm your hair. Patricia says, is it Tijin? Yes. Yes, Tijin. I like Tijin a lot. Tijin is really, really good. I haven't been using it as of late just because there are some other brands that I really, really enjoy and that also have great slip and don't use not parabens, they don't use parabens, don't use silicones, but yeah, like if I was somewhere where they weren't carrying, because a lot of the products that I have here, they don't carry them in pharmacies or the Walmarts, Targets, whatever, like they're not mass produced in that way. You really do have to go directly to the website, directly to whoever the company owner is. And so if I was in a situation where I couldn't do that, I needed something like this, I would absolutely lean into things like my holy grail. So like Maelle's got the Babassu Mint Oil Deep Conditioner that I love for just, resetting the hair if I don't know if it needs protein or moisture. I love the Tejan for, just being a moisturizing deep conditioner. I know I need a lot of moisture. I'll go to Tejan if there's nothing else. And so I think it's really important. Like, that's a little bonus tip, girlfriend. If there is something that's working for you and you realize that it's available everywhere, just take a mental note of that and know what works for your hair and if you can have access to it, because that's really going to make the major difference for you if you're ever caught in a bind and you just need something real quick. You don't have 2-3 months to wait on the company to send you the product. In that case, I think it's really important that you have something else that you can lean on until you get there. Hi, Mahamza. Hey. I love this. Thank you so much. 25 curl friends in the curl chat. This is fantastic. I really do appreciate your love, your support. And, it shows me that the tips that I've learned and done my research on over, the greater part of a decade now. My gosh. Yeah. I've been natural since about 2009. It's working for me, and your participation, your presence here is telling me that it's working for you as well too, and that you're at the very least interested in it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Nadoom says sometimes avoiding silicones is redundant. They just come up with new ingredients to do the same thing and aren't well studied. Yeah, that's 100% true. And I mean, a lot of these new products, like, people in business, they're always trying to one up each other, right? They're always trying to figure out how to innovate, how to, stand out from the crowd. And so if there is something that's working for you, don't feel pressured into changing things. Don't feel pressured into like trying out like 5 million products. You don't have to do that to be on top of your natural hair care journey. What you do have to do though is be aware of how things are working for you, and discard what doesn't work and keep what works. Honestly, if you take nothing from this, girlfriend, if the product isn't broke, if that particular part of your regimen isn't broken and it's working for you, keep it. Who cares what the trends are? Sometimes the trend might be that rice water everything, and we had that. Another one might be, I don't know. I saw ginger everything. There was another one at some point that was, I saw fenugreek was trying to come up in everything at some point. Like, there's always going to be something that is the new it product that everybody wants to jump on and create new products with. And as much as they're all jumping on it, like I said before, doesn't necessarily mean that those products are all super products. It just means that everybody's jumping on the marketing trend. Okay. Hi, Monica Bailey. Welcome to the Curlfriend crew. I feel like I haven't seen you here before, so welcome, welcome. And if I have, welcome again. Yeah, if you are watching this right now, you're enjoying it, you're finding that these tips are helpful, please, girlfriend, go ahead and just hit the like button, and also subscribe and hit up the notification bell button as well too, because those things tell YouTube that Find Natural Hair Rocks is actually a good YouTube channel and it's worthy of showing it to other girlfriends, which is what we want. Quilly Code, branding and marketing 101, LOL. It's not about the labels or packaging. Resist the shiny object syndrome. Yes, yes. And you know what? I was definitely, like, I've been victim to that. Like, I like things that look nice. And early in my, hair journey, it was very easy to see a beautiful product. Everyone's talking about it on YouTube. I have to try it. And while that didn't cause the most amount of damage to my hair itself, it definitely caused damage to my wallet, right? So that's not something that's a good idea. I wouldn't recommend trying every single thing that hits the market. Patricia, for us in Canada, it's difficult. Amen. Amen. It is so difficult. So we have to buy mostly online. Well, Walmart is getting better with Camille Rose, Mayel, and Shea Moisture. Yes. So here in Canada, we don't necessarily have access to all of these different products all the time anyways. It really is like whatever the staples are, the staples are. So we see Tejan a lot. I see, of course, like Patricia mentioned, Mayel, Shea Moisture. Those are the ones that we tend to see often. Camille Rose now. There are some others as well, but for the most part, if something new is dropping, even within those brands, we're not necessarily seeing that. Hi, TJ from Texas. What's up, girlfriend? Hey, Allison. No worries, no worries. You can definitely hit up the replay if you want to see what the first couple of tips were. We are currently on tip 3, and we're going to be leaning into tip 4 very shortly. Mahamza, I live out here in the boonies of the tiniest British Isles. Ooh. So majority of products are not targeted for 4C, but being able to read ingredients has served me well because I have found good ones. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. So even with that, like if you are in a locale that doesn't have products that are marketed directly to your hair type, I think what's really going to make the difference is paying attention to whether or not that ingredient is giving you slip. The biggest culprit of breakage with natural hair, with fine natural hair especially, is manipulation, and is like, yeah, manipulation. And so the biggest thing to prevent breakage is slip. If you can find a way for your hair to always be slipping past itself, it's always just in a nice slippery state, you're going to start to see length retention. You're going to start to see thickness a lot more easily because things are not just breaking off on itself. Ever since I changed my mind frame from I'm looking at ingredients just to look at ingredients to, yes, I want to make sure my ingredients aren't harming my health, but at the same time, I want to make sure that they're causing slippage on my strands. Girlfriend, I started to see so much more growth. I started to see so much more thickness. I don't really feel like, growing out my hair is an issue anymore. And I want you to take that tip home with you and take that tip to heart because I really think it's going to help in terms of the confusion that this massive natural hair community space can sometimes cause. Island girl, oh darn, working and going to meetings. I'm late for the live again. No worries at all, girlfriend. If you're coming on in, we're just happy to have you here. So no worries, you are always welcome, no matter what time it is. Even if it's 2 seconds before the live is done, you are still welcome, my girlfriend. Chinaza, hi, hey Chinaza, hey, welcome. TJ, my leave-in and styler never changes, but I do switch up my deep conditioners week to week. Yeah, that's a-okay. I switch up my stuff too. Right now, I'm just leaning into whatever seems like I've had a lot of it. I tend to rely on the stuff that I purchase first because, like I said, I don't like to lose money. So, if you're switching up your deep conditioners, but you're paying attention to the most important piece, which is what you want from that deep conditioner, you're a-okay. So, last week, for example, I needed more protein. I chose a protein deep conditioner that has been in my stash for a while. That's the Shea Moisture Jamaican Black Castor Oil deep conditioner. Worked amazing, did what I wanted it to do. Following wash day, so that was 2 weeks ago. This wash day this weekend, I need moisture, and so, or maybe balancing, and so it's going to be something that will give moisture or something that will give balancing. Patricia, I always read the ingredients and find out who makes the products. Yes, that's very important. You want to know as much as you possibly can about a product, about like whatever the company is, because a lot of these companies also fund things that you might not necessarily support, right? So for me, I am a human rights lawyer. I'm a social justice advocate. I will not be spending my money on any company especially if I know about it, that has been found to be, committing grave harms to humanity. That's just not something that I support. I mean, there are some areas where unfortunately that might be the only option. And in those cases, like that's the anomaly, that's the exception to the rule. But insofar as I can control where my money goes, because money is power, I will not be purchasing things from the companies that are found to commit issues against humanity, especially as it relates to things related to human rights. That's just like a no-no for me. Like I'm really big on human rights. Okay. Marjorie, hi. This is my first time sitting in on your videos. Thanks for your advice for fine natural hair. Marjorie, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you're having a positive experience here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks. You're absolutely welcome. And I'm glad that it's helping you. I really am, because when I was, going natural and looking for this information, and even when I was still natural and trying to find information, it was very difficult to find. And that's what prompted me to create my own journey and document it in the first place. And so here we are today with so many other girlfriends who are doing the exact same thing. It's funny because earlier this week, one of our girlfriends mentioned that there aren't other fine naturals on YouTube who have, really highly textured hair. So I don't know what type of 4A is. Like I know that there are different curls there. So 4A, 4B, 4C. I think I have a lot of 4C just given the huge amount of shrinkage that I experience. And so I think that girlfriend is correct because like I don't really know who else to follow. Like I've got my favorites like Michelle from Find Natural Hair and Faith, Kenya from Power in Your Curl, also finally Amber I think also has fine strands too. But these are largely girlfriends who they've got looser strands, and the advice is very much applicable and transferable to those who have more tighter curled hair, but I haven't found anybody who has super tight hair. So bearing in mind that, the curl pattern, your texture, to me, it only makes a difference as it relates to styling because your styles won't look the same as someone who has a different curl pattern or texture as you. But as it relates to products, as it relates to taking care of your hair, there are a lot of basics that just apply to all of it. Like fine strands are fine strands. And, if you've got fine curly strands or fine natural strands, fine kinky coily strands, many of the same techniques, many of the same do's and don'ts will apply to both in equal parts. Chinaza, unfortunately, I purchase all my products on Amazon. Products are not accessible here in Germany. So, Chinaza, you know what? It's interesting that you said that. If you are purchasing your products on Amazon and you want maybe a little step taken away from that process to see what works for you, a lot of my favorites I've actually shared on the Amazon Find Natural Hair Rocks shop. So, I'm just going to share this with you super quickly. If you're interested in purchasing anything, so this is our Find Natural Hair Rocks Amazon shop. I do share the wigs that I think work really, really well. Somebody had asked me about that before for fine strands. I also do share products. So all of these products I've tried, tested, and true, and love them. And I really think that they will assist with your fine natural hair journey as well. Now, everybody's hair is different. You may find some things that you like more or that you don't like more. But for me, these products are light enough for fine strands. They penetrate fine strands, and they tend to just get the job done. So if you're interested in that, the link to that is going to be in the description box of this video. And if you are, binge watching Financial Hair Rocks, there are 360 something videos now. It's crazy. You will see that link in all of the videos as well. Island Girl, I found two brands that work well for me and have been using them for 2 years now, Curls and Potions and Chemet Biologics. Those are amazing brands. The ingredients are chef's kiss, and they are also, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Island Girl, but I believe they're also Black owned as well. So that's really fantastic. The only issue for Canadians and maybe even those outside of the US is that Curls and Potions and Chemet Biologics are those types of brands that you definitely have to purchase directly from the website itself, and you may have difficulties getting it in. Um, the lighting is changing. I'm so sorry. Let's just keep it like that. But yeah, so it might be difficult to import them in just based on import rules and border regulations and stuff like that. So they might not be easily accessible, but they are amazing products. If you're ever in the US, look for those. I think I saw maybe not Curls and Potions, but I think I saw Chemet Biologics at Ulta, and Ulta's available online too. John de Ash, should we find natural shampoo weekly? So this is largely, it depends. Like if you shampoo your hair weekly, you feel like your scalp, you have like a lot of buildup, you feel like, your moisture levels need to kind of be improved, then I feel like in those instances, you might want to shampoo, but make sure you're deep conditioning. The biggest piece is deep conditioning or using those products that are going to put moisture back into your hair. So shampooing is really, in my view, like a base by it's a case by case type situation. So, if you're starting out on your journey and you really don't know where to start, then I think weekly could be safe. But as you start to learn your hair a little bit more, just realize when things are feeling more, dirty, gummy, maybe there's a lot of buildup, and then reduce or increase accordingly. So for me, I wash my hair every week. Week one will be full on, deep condition shampoo, all that good stuff. Week two will be a co-wash. There are times when I only wash my hair just a full on, wash every 2 weeks, sometimes every month. It just depends on what the seasons are, what products I've used. Is my hair super built up? Am I having a scalp issue because I do have sensitive skin? All of those things come into consideration. And I know it sounds like a lot, girlfriend, but the more you do your own hair yourself, you're going to know what works for you, and you're going to know how your hair feels and how you feel, and just what's going to work best given every single situation, whether it's the dead of the summer or the dead of the winter. You're going to really know exactly what works. No problem, Chinaza. You're welcome. I think, girl, yes, them being black owned is a big part of why I purchased them. Absolutely. That economic power is a huge thing. Ulta Beauty and Sephora both sell Chemet Biologics. Nice. I didn't know Sephora has that. I'm definitely going to check it out. Sephora's been really amazing lately for like natural hair products and black owned products. Like, I'm really proud of them. So, okay, you're welcome. Anytime. So, tip number 4, we kind of touched it a little bit, and that was to the first tip number 3 was don't deep condition after a co-wash. Tip 4 would be never to pre-poo your fine natural hair. Sorry. Tip 3 was don't deep condition after a co-wash. Tip 4 is never pre-poo before a co-wash. So it's for the same reason, right? Like, you don't want to be doubling up on really moisturizing products. Now, if your hair is super dry, then you probably can get away with it. But if you're on top of your moisturization, you're just trying to build a regimen, it's really not necessary to double up in that way. So to do a pre-poo and then a co-wash, or a co-wash and then a deep condition treatment, in my experience, that's led to buildup, that's led to itchy scalp, and it's also been a source of wasting product. Nothing good comes from it, so I really wouldn't recommend that. And again, if it does work for you, keep doing it. All of these tips are just guidelines. They're not hard and fast rules. They're just things that I've done over time, mistakes that I've made and corrected, and have now put me in a better place. Number 5 would be never ignore your hair porosity. So all of these tips are going to help you, especially if you understand your hair porosity. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and I'm going to show you a video. It's a very old video here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks, but it's a very good video nonetheless. And so here it is right here. This video is called Hair Porosity 101 and 5 easy steps to conduct hair porosity tests. So it is a Christmas video. You might be experiencing Christmas in May. But the information is there, and it's a really fantastic one. So if you're interested in just getting a real true breakdown of what porosity is and how to figure out your hair's porosity, this is a good video to watch. And I am going to leave the link in the description box so that you can go ahead and easily access that after our live stream. Thy why is truth. Thy word is truth. Nice. Hi, I'm new to your channel, and I really think you're the only highly textured fine hair YouTuber. Thanks for representing us. You're welcome. Thank you for letting me know that. That makes my heart explode with joy. Like, I'm so happy to be here to help. I never had that in my journey, and so it doesn't mean you need to have that in your journey. If there is ever any questions related to videos that you want to see, definitely have your voice heard in our community tab. There's always various different things going on in there to make sure that the content is really content that's going to serve you and that's going to help you. So if you have questions, by all means drop it on a video that your question arose on. I respond to every single video comment. I respond to every single, at least once. The replies are kind of hard to find, but I do respond when I see things, so just try it. I will respond as soon as I see things. Okay, tip number 6, never flat iron or hot comb damp or wet fine natural hair. That's a big one. So if you are, flat ironing your damp hair, you're flat ironing or hot comb. I don't think people really use hot combs anymore, but if you are flat ironing hair when it's wet, it will fry. Like, it will be the effect of like boiling the strand, and you never ever want to do that. And that's not a tip that's just for some people's hair and maybe not others. There's no hair type that will benefit. There's no hair type that's going to benefit from being flat iron while it's damp or wet. Like, don't do it. If the product is a product that I saw, there was like a new tool that uses it's the style of a flat iron, but it actually is a blow dryer. So it looks like a flat iron, but it's not a flat iron. It's using steam, or maybe not steam, but heat, like blown heat. That's different. But for a traditional flat iron, you don't want to be applying that to your hair when it's wet. Coily code, same. Us high textured fine hair naturals get left out of the bigger discussions. Absolutely. And you know what? It's really unfortunate because a lot of people unknowingly have fine strands. It took me years before I knew that I had fine strands. And as soon as I knew that, it really did make the difference. Sorry, girlfriend, need a little break there. Another tip. Silicones are great for preventing heat damage. Yes, they are. And you'll notice that silicones are often in a lot of the heat protectant products, which is why after you do a heat style, you oftentimes need to clarify to get it off. And sometimes you might notice that, your hair was straightened and it's taken a long time to get curly again. It's not necessarily that it's damaged, it's that it probably needs a really good clarifying treatment to remove all of the silicones that were put on it to protect your hair from damage. So that's another like side little tip if you've ever been wondering like why am I washing my hair and my curls aren't coming back? Um clarifying might bring it back a lot faster. Island girl, I have high porosity dry hair, so I can't do wash and goes or wash every week. It would dry out my hair and break off. Yeah, see, so that's a very good example. Thank you, Island girl, for raising that this point that like if you do have high porosity, your regimen's going to look a lot different because you put products on your hair and it, evaporates right out just as quickly. And so if you manage to lock that moisture in, you don't want to be manipulating and doing things to get the moisture back out. You really want to be adopting a low manipulation type of regimen that will help to keep the hair moisturized. Girlfriend, a lot of times people wonder and they ask like, what is my porosity? I was at one point low porosity. My porosity did change, and now I'm at medium porosity. So low and medium porosity have very similar regimens. It hasn't changed much in my regimen. In fact, it's made it a little bit easier because I don't necessarily have to use a bunch of heat to like force the cuticle open. Now I can just, deep condition with like a cap on, whatever, right? I don't need heat to necessarily get it in. So your hair porosity can change. But if all of this is confusing, I think I did a really good job at the time, which was 2 years ago, breaking down what the porosity was. If you want an updated video, definitely let me know on that video, and I'll be sure to put something together for the Curlfriend crew if enough people want it. And I will absolutely answer your questions too. The other one, so tip number 7 to that point is that you never ever want to flat iron your fine natural strands without any heat protectants. I think that one's a huge one. Most of us kind of know that one already, but it was worth, just repeating here because that's a very good way to damage those curls that you're pouring so much time, effort, and resources into protecting. All of that can just fly right out the window if you're not protecting it when you're doing your straight flat ironing treatments. The next tip, which is tip number 8, is never rush through detangling your fine strands because you're either pressed for time or really stressed out. So I am a 100% a proponent of just leaving your hair alone. I mean, if a weekend has passed by, it's a bad weekend, life happens. Maybe there was an argument with a loved one. Maybe, somebody has whatever, like there's an injury or a sickness, whatever. There's a whole plethora of things that can stress us out. Just push it off to another day. If you can't detangle your hair this week, maybe you did a co-wash last week. This week you're supposed to be doing a full wash because that's your regimen: co-wash, full wash, then co-wash. Skip it. Go ahead and skip it. I mean, I feel like it's going to do your hair a lot more harm to just force through that process than it is if you just, either skip your wash day and do it another day or opt for a co-wash or something faster just to get you through your natural hair cycles in the week. Allison says, my porosity has also changed from low to medium. Yeah, I don't know exactly why that happens, but I was talking to my stylist who is a hair educator herself, in addition to being a hair care specialist. And she said it's very normal. It can just happen because of styling. Maybe you use heat on your hair. It's not necessarily a bad thing. And sometimes it just happens. So I don't think there's a huge amount of understanding as to why that can happen, but it can definitely happen. So, Coily Code says same too. Interesting. See, like it's been happening to a bunch of us. Patricia, I'm still at work. We'll listen to replay. Yeah, no problem, Patricia. Thank you so much for joining. And anyone who has to leave, before we end, no problem at all. The replay is going to be here available permanently on Fine Natural Hair Rocks. If you are enjoying the live streams, all of the live streams are available except for maybe one. And I think that was because I don't know why, but it's not available. But the other ones, I think the file got corrupted. But the other ones are all available, including this is going to be available after the fact and forever whenever you want to come back to it. Thy word is truth. Same. I currently only wash my high porosity hair once a month. It's working great for me so far. Yeah, and that's why sometimes I kind of like raise an eyebrow when I hear people say like, you must wash your hair once a week or once every. No, not necessarily. Like we all have different porosities. We all have different lifestyles. Like if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. You might be rocking a protective style How are you going to wash your hair properly in a protective style? To that point, girlfriend, there is a new shorts video that was posted today. One of our girlfriends had asked if I could do a video about how to remove faux locks. That is a very dangerous style. You can definitely cut your hair out if you don't remove your faux locks properly. So the short video is only like a minute long, but it shows exactly what to do and what not to do, to make sure that you come out and still have hair on your head. Um, when that tumultuous process is complete. The coily code, or listen to the Find Natural Hair Rock Zen playlist to get prepared for wash day. Yes, thank you, coily code. So yeah, if you're into like that Zen spa music, we absolutely have that available here on Find Natural Hair Rocks, for you to be able to take advantage of a relaxing moment, like touching your hair, caring for yourself, pouring back into yourself after a very long week. Those things are so important. I mean, it could sound very vain, even it can even sound like laissez-faire and like woohoo, but there is a lot of scientific evidence, a ton, even in the medical space, that I've seen, since leaning more fully into taking care of myself, that says that you really need to like calm your spirit down so that your nervous system can also be at a more equilibrium state. So when you're doing your hair, you're listening to Zen music, you're doing something like this, which is enjoyable, Find Natural Hair Rocks. You are, essentially reducing your stress levels, and you are bringing your nervous system back to Zen state, which is good for your body and for, reducing inflammation and all those things. I'm not a doctor, but I've read this before, and yeah, it's very helpful. Thy word is truth. Sorry, Island Girl, I wash mine every 2 weeks. It's worked for me for years. You see, yeah, if it's worked for you, never ever change it. Mahumza, that faux locks takedown video had me clutching my pearls in trepidation. I know, right? Girlfriend, you have to watch that video. I should find it. I'm gonna find it and put it in the chat as well. That was a very stressful takedown. Like when I had got the first one, I was like, this style is terrible. Like, I'm never, ever, ever doing faux locks in that way again. Like that was the first time I had it installed like that. And yeah, like it was extremely stressful. Allison says, I listen to gospel while detangling my hair. Yes, that's nice. Give thanks to the Lord for all he's done. He's blessed us all with another day. That's a really nice one. I love that. Girlfriends are dying in the chat. Yeah, it was stressful. It was crazy. So we are at number 9. Never solely detangle your fine strands with your fingers. Girlfriend, my gosh, like I did that one time, and to be honest, I had no business trying to do something like that because at the time I was really stressed out, super pressed for time. I was articling trying to become a lawyer. I was, writing my bar exam, studying for that, going to the gym. Like it was just crazy. And so I decided to go ahead and just use my fingers because everybody was saying finger detangling was amazing, which it is if you're doing it properly. And now, after that experience, I would say it is if you have thick strands. It is not a good idea if you have fine strands to do that solely. And so what happened was I was going ahead, weeks, months would pass by, only finger detangling. Girlfriend, would you know I had a couple of dreads all over my head? There were couples, there were some dreads. There were actually locks, like free form locks in my hair. So after that, I mean, I've landed upon a detangling method that works for me, which is to go in first with my fingers, but then to go in secondly with a wide tooth comb. And that is where I've landed on. And that is what has helped me retain my length. Everybody's detangling method is going to be different. Unfortunately, it is one of those things where you will have to learn through trial and error. You will have to learn through, your own process. But for me, finger detangling solely is a very bad idea. It takes forever. And yeah, the likelihood of getting a lock, an unintended freeform lock, is very high. Not that I have anything against locks. It's just I want locks on my terms. Like I don't want locks freeform and naturally when I haven't been doing anything for locks, right? Like it needs to be a planned thing. So yes, Quilly Code, the way Lavinia was wielding those scissors triggered me to within an inch of my life. I know, and the video, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but like, yeah, I was looking back at it and I was like, wow, there was a lot of trust in those scissors, and like, girlfriend, I no hair was harmed. No hair was harmed. Island girl, I detangle with my fingers and a wide tooth comb. Yes, same. And that has been the sweet spot for these highly textured strands. The finger detangling thing, like I have too much texture for that. I'm never doing that again. Nadoom, no Zen music for me. I have to stay awake. It's Afro beats. Hey! And the rest of the diaspora for me. I love Afro beats. Give me some Wizkid. Give me some Burna Boy. Like, what? Oh, I saw, this is so side topic, but I saw that there's a company that does an Uber Soca cruise, and they're doing an Uber Afro cruise, which is basically like a cruise with like Afro beat stars, Afro beat music, and it's going from I think Florida to Cozumel, one of those islands. But anyways, if you're into like soca, you're into Afro beats, that type of a thing, that was a really cool one. I am thinking like if the time frame is right, I'm really in like a travel bug moment right now. I would absolutely love to be on that cruise because it looks amazing. Like it looks like vibes on vibes on vibes. Jonda, I agree that finger detangling only on our fine strands doesn't get all the shed hairs out. No, it doesn't. It causes way more issues than it resolves. And yeah, like, I mean, again, it could work for some, didn't work for me. So thy word is truth. Exactly. Finger detangling is for the ladies with thick strands. Yes. Now I'm like creeping out the girlfriend crew about faux locks. So there's a way that it could be done properly, like where you don't have to do that. So the way that I like and that works really well for me is where they apply the faux lock directly to the strand and they pull your hair in the middle of it, because when you're taking it down, all you have to do is cut at the bottom. So I would cut far down where my hair isn't, and then you can just unravel it on up. But the way this was done, it was like invisible locks. So because my hair is long, they had to like fold it up on itself. And so I didn't know where my hair was, and I didn't know where the lock was. And then on top of it, like she wrapped it with some like what do you call it? They're like some synthetic hair. So I really didn't know what was what. And it was just by God's mercy alone, like I wasn't meant to lose hair that day. I wasn't meant to lose hair that day because, like, honestly, like I was very slow with it. There was a big mirror in front of me to make sure. And yeah, Mahamza, what is it about fine natural strands that predisposes them to locking? My strands start to lock after a fortnight if left alone. I think it's just the lightness of it, right? So because your fine strands are missing an entire layer, they're very light. And so they can move around and they can love on each other really easily, causing that breakage and causing that tangling. Whereas like if your hair is like thicker, there's less to move around, there's less lightness to it. I think that's it. I mean, that's my hypothesis. It's not based in anything educational or evidentiary, but I feel like that lightness has a lot to do with it. Like that fairy lightness, like they're just so light. Doom says the crew sounds divine, right? Oh, I need to be there. I need that to work with my schedule. The coily code. I finger detangle always, but use a brush at least once every quarter to get any shed hairs I missed. And I finger detangle on dry or stretched hair with a little bit of water to avoid shrinkage. Yeah, that's smart. So finger detangling works really well for me when I'm using my Revere, and when my hair is like in a completely stretched out state. I don't necessarily need to go in with a comb. Actually, I wouldn't, because I find when the hair is completely void of moisture, it is in a state where it can break off a little bit more easily. And so, anything you put on it will cause that reversion, and the reversion actually ends up, it helps with the tangling, but it doesn't necessarily help if you use too much of it. So I totally agree with you. It really just comes down to exactly how your hair is feeling between your fingers, how it's responding. If you've got highly textured strands like mine, you don't want to be in that middle ground between like some are straight and some are super curly, because that also can cause breakage as well. Where am I? Okay. Thy word is truth. Think of our individual strands as sewing thread as opposed to someone with thick strands like ropes. Love it. Exactly. The sewing thread is absolutely going to, tie up on itself, and you can create knots all over it. With a big thick rope, thinking like the ones like, now I'm in cruise thinking, like the ones that hold a ship, that's very hard to get like all winded up, and it's not going anywhere. Once it's there, it's there. Nadoom, this faux lock takedown process sounds alarming. It was alarming. I was like sitting there thinking, like, what did I get myself into? It was, I mean, beautiful style and super conducive to growth because your hair is like in the middle of like all of this fake hair. So you don't like, you can't really moisturize it and you don't really need to because the style is operating almost like it's like a shield. So like whatever was in the strand stays in the strand. So that was nice. It's just, is your hair gonna be in one piece when you remove it? You know? Kizzy, hey Kizzy, what's up, Kizzy Kente? I fingered a tango, a Felicia Leatherwood brush, then a fine tooth comb. Yes, see, if that's working for you, my girl, keep it, keep it, keep it, keep it. That sounds amazing, like in terms of like if it's working for you, you know. Felicia Leatherwood brush, I liked it as well. I did find that I was having some issues with my Felicia Leatherwood brush, so I actually don't use it as much anymore. But a lot of people have a lot of like success with it. It's a great brush. It's just some people it works for and others don't. Mohamza and Nadoom, you guys are killing me. Oh my gosh, you guys are the best. You guys truly are the best. I'm telling you, Coily Code, thy word is truth. That name is fire, man. Like, I feel like I need to be putting some fires in the chat. Like, you know, the little fire flame. Like, that's a wicked, that's a amazing, you know, handle. Wow, look, let's add some fire there. Boom. Allison loves the Felicia Leatherwood brush as well. Thy word is truth is hopping in the fun. Y'all are amazing. This is so much fun. I love you guys. Honestly, I really do. Okay, tip number 10. Never shampoo your fine natural strands without section. So you know when you're watching those commercials and they're like, ooh, and they're doing like all this stuff with their, don't do it, girlfriend. Don't do it. It doesn't work. That's just gonna cause more tangling, and then you're going to be the one who has to take out the damage and the tangling. So what I would say, especially if your hair is longer, if it's shorter, you can get away with just focusing on your scalp. Actually, any length of hair. Focus on your scalp, massage the scalp, you know, cleanse the scalp with your shampoo, and then just let it fall out of the strands. If that's not enough for you, then lather up the shampoo in your hands and then bring it down the hair like this and use those sections. So if you've got fine strands, one of the amazing things about it is that you don't need as many sections as someone who's got super thick strands. I can get away with 4 strands. At one point when my hair was a lot shorter, I couldn't do 4, sorry, not strands, sections. 4 sections because it was shorter, so I would do 6. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But if your hair is longer and it can catch, then you can absolutely do 4 or whatever works for you. But what you don't want to be doing is going in with your whole head and just dousing it. Now, so many of us are kind of like, oh, well, I have fine strands, I can get away with it. If you can, great. But for the majority of us, especially with highly textured strands, it's a really, really bad idea. Island girl, I make sure my hair is wet, apply a leave-in conditioner, then detangle, especially after braid removal. Yeah, after braid removal, you want to make sure that your strands are coated with like your best detangler ever. You know, when I was taking down the faux locks, the hair was so dry because it was in there for such a long time. And so immediately, you know, take down a lock, moisturize with a leave-in, like a detangling leave-in, and then twist it back on up and move on to the next one. And that way you're not dealing with a head full of like dry, you know, tangly hair that's in a perfect state to break off, right? Hi, love it. What's up? Welcome, welcome to the Curlfriend chat. Welcome to the Curlfriend crew. Go ahead and like this, everybody. Go ahead and like this video if you haven't already. It really does help Financial Hair Rocks out. Because yeah, you know, we really want to reach more Curlfriends. Mahamza, thy word is truth that thread and rope analogy is excellent. Yeah, that was a really good one. Thank you so much for that. That was like perfection. Coily Code. Oh, girl, I've done that once and what a nightmare. So much tangling, shampooing my hair loose. Yeah, I've been there too. Early in the days when I thought, you know, let me just do what I see everyone doing. And that's the beauty of trial and error. Like, you learn from those mistakes. I love mistakes because you learn the most from a mistake and then you can change and you can become better. So, I mean, I've never done that again. And I don't know who that would benefit. I don't even think that benefits people with like, you know, straight hair. So if you've got curly hair, that's That's a nightmare. Patricia says, I use my hand to do a light detangling, and after I use a Denman 38. I did use the Felicia brush, but I think my hair is too fine. I was having a bit of breakage. Yeah, for me, the Felicia brush, I mean, I don't know if it was that particularly that caused breakage, but I think it was just a little bit too thorough. It's very good for shingling. So, like, if you're somebody who really is doing like a wash and go and you want to see your curls in its most natural state, I think it's really nice for styling, and that's what I still use mine for, even though I don't really do wash and goes too often. But yes, I find the safest bet for fine strands is the fingers. And how are you using your fingers? So you don't want to be splitting your tangles from the root. You really want to be like, just working through it. My strands tend to like being detangled by pulling it out of the knot. As opposed to wishboning it. This is the worst. Like, I don't think this works for anybody to like wishbone the hair. I I think it's probably the best thing is to like lift it out and try to lift it out as gently as possible. Make sure you have a ton of detangler on it to like really just coat the strands so they become very slippery and they aid the process. Another thing that I used to do that was really really helpful, and I still do this actually. What am I saying? Used to. I still do it. Is when I deep condition the hair, you detangle after the deep conditioning process, but only if it's with moisture, because moisture is going to allow the hair to move past itself really nicely, and that's going to allow you to detangle a lot more easily. I would never, ever at this stage, especially, detangle my hair before wash day. That's crazy. Some people it works for. For me, for my fine strands, that's never worked, and that was actually one of the reasons why I was experiencing stalled length retention as well. Detangler mostly with a conditioner. Yeah, conditioners are amazing for that. You can detangle with an oil. There are so many different ways to do it. And you can really experience some great success. Island Girl, not black owned, but Aunt Jackie's not on my watch is excellent for detangling after braids. Ooh, I haven't heard of that. I know Aunt Jackie's, but I haven't tried that not on my watch. So I'm definitely gonna check that one out. Okay, so we're up to number 11. Wow. Never compare your fine natural strands to other naturals. So y'all knew this was gonna be here. Like, it's so important. Our hair is so different. Your hair is so different. If you compare that to other naturals, even like their length journey, the styles they're able to achieve, how long it's taking them to hit certain lengths, you will literally drive yourself crazy. And girlfriend, I've been there. I've been victim to that thinking where I was like, I've been natural for so long. Like, why have I not hit waist back length yet? Why have I not hit mid back length yet? Like, why am I stuck? Right. But us with fine strands, it's just those are the genetics that we have. It's not going to be as easy for us to, attain long length and have fine strands and also be highly textured. So the sooner you notice that and you realize that and you accept it, is the easier it's going to be to take advantage of the length and the health and the appearance, the aesthetic of your hair where it is currently, and then enjoy that process to get to where you're trying to get to next. And it's hard. It's so much easier said than done. Things that have helped me with that point is like, I follow all naturals. Like, I love natural hair care, period. But I don't necessarily try to duplicate what I'm seeing on naturals that don't have a similar, for styles, similar texture, and then for hair care, similar hair characteristics. So that means that, my timeline has a lot of people with tightly textured hair. My timeline has all the fine naturals. I don't think there's anybody who I've missed. Again, girlfriend, if you know of anybody who has a similar hair type to me on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, let me know who he or she is, because yeah, I'd love to know. And then finally, number 12 is never use fine tooth combs to solely detangle your fine strands. So that will lead to breakage. That's one of the things that you don't want to do. Even if you start at the bottom of the strands with a fine tooth comb and you work your way on up, you will have significantly less hair by the time you're done with that. Girlfriend, I am speaking to you from, past traumas with this. Like, my grandma, may her beautiful soul rest in peace, they didn't know what about these things back in the day. And so I remember the little like brown comb, like, the what do you call it there? The tail comb with the ends. They're still around. Like, I'm looking at it over there actually. But I remember having my hair detangled with that, and it was extremely painful, right? That's another point. Bonus point. If your hair care regimen or whatever it is you're doing to your hair is it's causing pain, that's a strong indication that you should probably stop doing that. Hair care never needs to be painful. It should never, ever be painful. There's no circumstance where that's normal or that's beneficial. Kizzy says, oh, whoops, which there it is. Ooh, child, I never detangle my hair without DC for at least half an hour. Yeah, like we're trying to, help the process, not make it worse. That was my gosh, like again, like I told you, like trauma, real trauma. Coily Coat says, I don't know when's the last time I used a fine tooth comb. Yeah, I don't use fine tooth combs. Like to me, like, if you're trying to save money in your hair care regimen, that's the first place that you can save money with. There's really no need for it beyond like parting. It's really good for parting, but other than that, we're not doing this with a fine tooth comb. The rat tail comb. Yes, Island Girl, the rat tail comb. Good for you. You don't even own one. I feel like I still have the same traumatic one from way back when. I should probably just chuck it in the garbage. But the reason why I kept it, all jokes aside, is the parting piece is supreme. And I do want to start doing some more styles on fine natural hair. Bearing in mind the goals that I have, I can't be going crazy out here. But yeah, it's really good for that. But everything else, yeah, no. Hamza, yes, I'm a big proponent of supporting channels belonging to ladies whose hair looks like mine. Encourage and build up what we want to see. Exactly. And you know what the great part about that is, Hamza? You go out into the real world and you just feel so good. Like you feel like you're 100% like there's nothing special, unique, different in how I'm looking with my hair like this, because you see it all the time and it's normalized in these spaces, and you go outside and that normalized feeling follows you into the real world. That is the most beautiful thing about, really just creating the narrative for yourself where you're not seeing it in mass media. And interestingly, we're starting to see so much more of it in mass media as well. Like I love anything Issa Rae. Issa Rae has been amazing at showing off her fine strands. I think she has fine hair. Her hair looks fine to me. Her fine, highly textured strands, she wears it. She wears it. She wears color in it. She does twists. She does braids. She has a little fro. She does whatever. The other one who does a really good job of showing it off and, just beautiful is Lupita Nyong'o. Oh my gosh. Like I think right now she's currently bald, like completely bald, but this space of natural hair love and care has really transcended into the mass media arena, and it's really made a difference. So I mean, yeah, like I think it makes a huge difference what you expose yourself to online, and then where it tends to go even offline into the real world. Kizzy, ladies rat tail, fine tooth is the ish once it's detangled really well and works well for wash and goes. Interesting. You see, so like I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, because like for me personally, like the trauma is just too real, so like I I personally wouldn't do it. But if it's working for you, girlfriend, keep it. Keep it, keep it, keep it. There is no right or wrong way to do natural hair except for what works for you. So absolutely don't get rid of it if it's working for you. Coily Code, I have to go. Enjoyed all you girlfriends. Thank you, Lavinia, for giving us your time and providing a space for us fine natural girlies. You rock. Thank you for being here, Coily Code. I've also got to run. It's been amazing. I'm going to be doing a nighttime workout because I missed it this morning. And we got through our 12 tips anyways. If you're enjoying a video like this, let me know if there's anything further you want to see. There's so many more tips and tricks that, I've kind of experienced in my life that have worked well for me, and that might work well for you as well. And again, if you know anybody who's got natural hair, is struggling with their natural hair care journey, this channel is really going to help them. They do not have to have fine strands to do it. To that point, and where we're going next, there's a video that will be available for your viewing pleasure very shortly. It's a braid out tutorial video. Braid out gone wrong, braid out done well. I don't know, you be the judge. And then there's the final day of the cruise vlog coming up. So thank you so much for watching, my beautiful girlfriend. I wish you a wonderful Friday, an amazing long weekend if you've got it. And just be blessed. Enjoy yourself, live life to the fullest. Don't let nobody aggravate your soul. I'm joking. Enjoy yourself, enjoy every part of life. It's just so beautiful, and no day is guaranteed. So you might as well live it up to the fullest. Some last final words. Allison, I only use rat tail comb for parting. Yeah, it is useful for that. It's very good for that. Hamza, I love this platform. Nadum and Island Girl have transformed the way I protect my hair whilst driving. So much to learn. Love it. Love it. I love it. Kizzy, our hair rocks. Yes, it does. It 100% does. Thy word is truth. Thank you. You're welcome. Island girl, that is so sweet to say, sis. You guys are the best. You honestly are. I will see you in the next video. Probably will be dropped tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then on Sunday. Love you lots. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.